I'm Ron Trevino from KHOU 11 News this morning. Y'all knew that, though, right? Please say yes. All right. Well, on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to welcome you to the largest Hispanic gala in Houston. Tonight, we're honoring outstanding business leaders, executives, and emerging leaders. All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Chairman of the Board, Armando Perez. Mr. Perez is the Senior Vice President for the Houston Division of the H-E-B Grocery Company.
Good evening. On behalf of the entire Board of Directors of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank each one of you for joining us here tonight as we celebrate Hispanic executives, business owners, and entrepreneurs. I promise to keep my remarks short, as I know we're all excited about hearing about this year's honorees. I do, though, want to take a moment and thank the staff that has put tonight's event together. Lauda leads an incredible group of talented individuals that have worked planning this event for months. With that, I'm going to move to our Chairman's Award. Very honored to be given this award tonight. And if you think about the understanding of the demographic changes that have happened in Houston and beyond throughout Harris County, there's the definitive expert is our honoree, Dr. Steven Kleinberg. He's a graduate of Harvard College, has a Master's of Arts from the University of Paris, and received his PhD from Harvard. As many of you know, he is currently a professor of sociology at Rice University. In 1982, he and his students initiated the annual Kinder Houston Area Survey, which is now well into its fourth decade of tracking the remarkable changes in the demographic patterns, economic outlooks, experiences, and beliefs of Harris County citizens. I'd now like to present the Chairman's Award to Dr. Steven Kleinberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you turn your attention to the screen once again for a quick 2014 Chamber recap. Pretty impressive. Well, as you can see, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has had a very productive year. The Chamber it's the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the largest Hispanic chamber in the country and the largest chamber in this region. At the helm of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is none other than Dr. Laura Murillo. She is a recipient of many local, state, and national honors and has been named one of the most powerful and influential women in Texas. Please welcome now President and CEO, Dr. Laura Murillo.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is here because of you, your investment, your time. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce serves as the advocate for business. Every day your chamber is at the table, whether it's on the political front, regarding issues, whether it's with our emerging leaders, where we are developing young leaders for Houston, Hispanic or not. Because of our board of directors, we are able to provide you with programs and services, such as the ones you saw in the video today. We do nothing without you. Each of you play a role. If you're not involved, we ask that you become involved. We ask that you help us empower Houston. We are Houston, Hispanic or not. We must work together. We must collaborate. We must empower our community to serve, to lead. We are proud that our board of directors hail from many sectors of industry, and in any moment, they can open doors for us. Whether it's a small business owner who's trying to get his or her first break, whether it's corporations who need to understand that Hispanics truly are here to be part of Houston's economic epicenter. In this room, we have CEOs, we have physicians, we have entrepreneurs. You will hear from people today who have 1, 2, 3 degrees. You will hear from people today who started with very little, whether it's financial resources, opportunities, or education. But through hard work, through passion, through persistence, and because of other people, they stand before you today. And to those of you in the audience, especially the emerging leaders, we ask that you please take a look at what these people have done, where they are today. Each of you have a role to play in our chamber. We ask that you continue to invest in the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce so we can invest in Houston.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce honors outstanding business leaders. Their accomplishments and their journeys are impressive and inspirational. Mr. Perez and Dr. Murillo will be presenting the awards to the honorees this evening. All right, now the Hispanic Male Senior Executive of the Year. This year's Hispanic Male Senior Executive of the Year is Mr. Benny Agosto, Jr. Mr. Agosto is a partner with Abraham Watkins Nichols Soros Agosto and Friend. Let's begin with the 2 finalists for Emerging Business of the Year. Our first finalist is Ms. Regina Garcia, owner of Events. Let's watch her video.
Born in Bay City, Texas, Regina Garcia is owner of Events, a high-end boutique located in River Oaks. She and her 4 siblings worked in the family restaurant where she said she learned her most valuable lesson.
Mother had us working in the restaurant, and so we had different jobs in the restaurant. So we washed dishes, we waited on tables, and then we got to be the hostess. But you know, washing dishes was your first job, and if you graduated and did a great job, you got to wait on tables. And then if you did even a better job, you got to be a hostess in front of the customer. But I think what I learned from that is the customer is number one. Just say yes to the customer.
Garcia served as a Macy's executive for over 20 years.
The decision-making point that came to me when I bought Events was one of my dearest friends, who was my colleague at Marshall Fields, said to me, "Regina, if you don't invest in yourself, who will?" invest in yourself because you can do this and you've always done it. You've always really driven hard. So now's the time to get out there and be who your mother was. We made a promise of this institution that's been here since 1987. This is an iconic store. It reigns over the River Oaks community, and we cater and service to the sophisticates and to the celebrities that are in the state of Texas.
Garcia offers the following advice to entrepreneurs.
It really didn't take a lot of money to be a great leader. It just takes a great soul with respect and humility, and to understand if you did something wrong, you can say, I made a mistake, because mistakes really build foundation. They build wisdom.
When asked what her parents would say of her success, Garcia said the following.
My dad would say, I'm proud of you. My mother would say, way to go, mijita. That's what my mother would say. And then she'd say, I knew you could do it. And that's all she'd say. I mean, she would just smile at me.
Our second finalist is Mr. Henry Riojas. Let's watch his video.
After 17 years of service at Xerox, Henry Riojas embarked on a new venture, establishing his Tejano Salsa, handmade tamales, and more business, a division of Henry's Dream Distributors.
Well, it was the day we opened, February 25th, at 9 a.m. We were all sitting here, the workers. We only had 5 then. And we're going, what are we going to do? We don't have any orders. And we did not want to be a restaurant because we didn't have permits for a restaurant. People wanted to eat here. We said, no, we're a manufacturer. We're not serving as a restaurant, which might have been a mistake on my part. We should have just started serving food, but we didn't. At 9 a.m. that day, Reliant called, the head chef called and said they wanted 25,000 tamales for rodeo. And we were like, oh my gosh. So we all rejoiced, you know, thank God, and it kept us going.
Riojas has expanded his tamale tasting room to include the following.
Besides making tamales and cheese and salsa, we make barbecue sauces, we make spaghetti sauce, marineros, pickles, jams, jellies, you know, we make a lot of different products.
Today, Riojas' clients include
Well, Kroger's our biggest customer. We sell to Walmart. We sell to Randall, Safeway, Tom Thumb. They're all part of that group. We sell to Grocery Supply, UNFI as a distributor, KeHE as well, Food Town, Fiesta, and here recently we're going into Sam's Club.
Riojas says the following about his parents.
We didn't know that we were poor as heck. We ate rice and beans every day. My parents worked hard. I think they're proud.
The Emerging Business of the Year award goes to Regina Garcia. Let's continue with the 2 finalists for the Female Entrepreneur of the Year award. Our first finalist is Ms. Evelyn Fletcher, President and CEO of Electronic Assembly Services Incorporated. Let's watch her video.
Evelyn Fletcher, President and CEO of Electronic Assembly Services, Inc., reminisces about her upbringing.
And living in the project homes was not easy because I would tell myself, gosh, you know, it hadn't been for my mother, you know, and of course my father, the support she gave me, you know, she said, querer es poder, which is mean you can do. And I always keep that in my mind.
When asked about her start in the business, Fletcher said the following.
I worked at this place at Stewart and Stevenson, and this is a company where I used to work, and they needed somebody to wire, and I felt that I needed that opportunity to wire, so I asked my friends that if they could help me, and I brought them some tamales and nachos, and they decided, okay. So they started teaching me because they were all tall, and I was short, see? And so I felt that I could do the job. I just felt it, you know, and he said, okay, let's try it. So then he had me go ahead and start wiring, you know, they were showing me, training me. And then one of the bosses said, hey, we need somebody to start wiring this panel, but it's real small inside. They said, we know somebody that can wire. He said, who's that? Evelyn Fletcher. He said, really? And he said, yes. He said, I don't know about that. I said, you need to try me. You know, I know I can do it. He said, well, let's see about that. So then he did. He gave me that opportunity, and it was, I mean, it was tight in there.
This Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses graduate astutely aligned herself with the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council.
And that's how it started. You know, they just told me, say, you know what, I want you to do some more work, which is the gentleman that the engineer told me. He said, okay. So I started billing them, you know, and then I decided again that I needed to talk to the attorney again. I went back to him. I said, look, I want to start this business. He said, well, we need to know how you're going to do it. Do you have a business plan? I didn't lie, I didn't know what a business plan was, but I learned real fast.
Today, Fletcher's clients include an impressive array of corporations.
My clients are GE, Centerpoint, Stewart & Stevenson, Oceaneering, Cameron.
Fletcher said the following about her mother.
I think my mother would say to me that she's very proud. I know you could do it. And that's something that I wish she was here, but I think she's here a lot.
Our second finalist is Dr. Alexandra Garcia, DDS MS. Let's watch her video.
Dr. Alexandra Garcia, a prosthodontist, opened her practice in the Galleria area in 1992. Garcia hails from Colombia and has advanced training in aesthetic restorations and tooth replacement.
I went to MD Anderson and I did a one-year scholarship, fellowship with them. It's in the head and neck department. They have a dental department also, because in MD Anderson they do a lot of, the patient is, they treat the patient for every aspect whenever they have the cancer.
Garcia explains the complexities of her specialty.
My specialty is like you do the complicated cases, people who really are suffering and they have to do a lot of things on your mouth, like their bite is not right. The name is prosthodontics, and it comes from prosthetics, and that means fake teeth, basically.
Garcia recalls her early educational challenges.
At the beginning it was hard because, of course, I have I just barely can speak English, and at that time it was even worse. And and it was. I remember the first time that I have a lecture. It was with a lot of people here in Houston, and they were talking about a tooth number, and it was tooth number 10. The U.S. have a different numbers for the teeth.
She admits being an entrepreneur is not easy.
To be a businesswoman is hard to handle and do all the business part in your practice. The first year when I started my practice, it was really hard. I was tired all the time, because you have to deal with everything that you don't know and nobody teach you.
Today, Garcia sees the similarity between herself and her father.
He was really proud. He was, I think he probably see, and I see myself also, his personality a little bit on me. And I think he was proud, all my family, because, you know, especially because to be here by yourself is not that easy.
It's my pleasure to announce the recipient of this year's Hispanic Female Entrepreneur of the Year. And the winner is Evelyn Fletcher. Congratulations, Ms. Evelyn Fletcher. Now on to the finalists for the Hispanic Male Entrepreneur of the Year Award. Our first finalist is Mr. Frank Reyes, president of World Commerce Forwarding Incorporated. Let's hear his story now.
We were going down Wayside to unload a truck of wine, a trailer load of wine, and we're going down Wayside, turning on Produce Road, and the truck turns over. And I go through the front windshield. So I got hurt, and out of that came the turning point of my life was there.
Today, Frank Reyes is president of World Commerce Forwarding, Inc. Following his car accident, Reyes decided to get his GED and broker's license in the hope of becoming a successful entrepreneur.
I would go into banks and ask for money, And I know, as God is my witness, I know when I was walking out, they were laughing at me when I was walking out that door. I said, this guy wants us to let him borrow money. So I went to my father-in-law, last person in the world I would ever think I would go for money. And I borrowed money. I got a loan from him. Then I went to my uncle, Greg Torres, and he took me to the bank and he co-signed for a note for me.
Today, Reyes employs over 50 people in his logistics company. When asked about his childhood in Denver Harbor, Reyes said the following.
I thought that I would be in jail. The atmosphere at that time, or the culture at that time, was ugly. It was gang-related. It was not a friendly culture. There was nothing to push you along for an education.
World Commerce Forwarding, Inc. offers international freight forwarding, customized packing, and crafting. Reyes is one of 10 children. He says the following about his father.
Well, for my dad, it's kind of difficult because all his sons were successful. And I'm glad to say that 3 of his sons are millionaires and then some, and are still growing in the business. So he's proud of us. He's just proud of us. And to him, it's a simple world. It's a simple world.
Our second finalist is Dr. Maximo Tejeda, founder of Tejas Tubular Products Incorporated. Let's watch his video now.
Maximo Tejeda, president and CEO of Tejas Tubular Products, Inc., hails from the Dominican Republic. This Purdue University graduate has an industrial engineering degree. Tejas Tubular, a manufacturer of oil and gas piping and tubing, has facilities throughout the country and has over 850 employees with revenues exceeding $300 million. Tejeda reminisces about his parents.
They worked at a Keebler factory making brownies.
Tejas Tubular is based in Houston. Tejeda is opening his newest facility in his hometown where he was raised, Carlisle, Indiana.
Yes, we just opened our 4th facility in New Carlisle, Indiana, which is about 20 minutes from my mother's house.
Tejeda recalls his start in the steel industry.
Well, I have been very fortunate from the beginning. I think the National Steel Corporation realized that I had certain talents and they put me always on the fast track. And I was running big departments for them before I was 30.
Tejas Tubular Products, Inc. opened its doors in 1990.
It was really a truckload at a time. We would invoice at 1 truckload at a time, which was around like $24,000 a truck.
More than 3 decades later, Tejeda now works alongside his son, Max Tejeda Jr. They have big plans for Tejas Tubular.
I feel very proud that we're in an industry that is helping America become energy independent. And most of what we do now, at least out of this plant, is for the shale. And we are now 85% self-sufficient. 5 years ago, we were only 70% self-sufficient. And if we can continue, we can be 100% self-sufficient.
And the winner of this year's Hispanic Male Entrepreneur of the Year Award is Maximo Tejeda. At this time, we'd like to invite all the honorees on stage to be recognized one last time, and all the finalists. Benny Augusto Jr., Regina Garcia, Henry Riojas, Evelyn Fletcher, Alexandra Garcia, Maximo Tejeda, and Frank Reyes. Now to conclude our program, please help me welcome Dr. Laura Murillo.
This year, the Greater Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Foundation has graduated its 100th Emerging Leader. Let's give them a round of applause. The Emerging Leaders Institute is the way our chamber has identified young leaders. We identified, we developed, and we help cultivate leaders for Houston, Hispanic or not. When we began this program just 3 years ago, I said to many of the Chamber board members that I believe we could raise $1 million. I'm happy to announce that just a month ago, we reached that benchmark. We have raised over $1 million for emerging leaders in the city of Houston. And now, we'd like you to take a look at this video so you can learn more about the Emerging Leaders Institute.
Hi, my name is Hannah Doe, and one of the things that I've learned about the Emerging Leaders Institute was to step out of your comfort zone. And thankfully, Dr. Laura Murillo really helped me step out of my comfort zone by introducing to me the CEOs and presidents and very important figures who I might have never met in my life or will ever get the chance to. And I really want to thank her for giving me this opportunity.
I am a student at U of H, majoring in environmental chemistry. What I got from the program was information that I desperately needed. Before I even knew about the Houston Chamber Foundation, all I knew was work. I was about to drop out of college and do contract work, do scaffolding, because education wasn't really paying off. I come from a neighborhood that no one goes to school. I was about to give up until I met Laura and the Emerging Leaders. None of my friends go to school. This is the first group that I actually meet that are successful through school. It really inspired me to continue my education and not just finish with a bachelor's but get my master's, go for my PhD. It was just a great opportunity for me.
To enjoy the festivities, have a great time. Congratulations, Emerging Leaders.